And welcome back to another brand new video. So it's Saturday, it's around sort of 1:30, and the high tide is around 2 p.m. today. I think it's a minute before 2 p.m. and you can see the sea is already a little choppy. So come and join me on this one. So we're just gonna start the video off near the North Pier. It's gone past the North Pier now. So there's a bit of a queue for the old tram. Look at that. And you see the old the guys there playing on a bit of a stag do, maybe the old kiss me quick hats, and obviously that's what Blackpool is renowned for. You know, the stag do's and the hen do's. But a bit of a queue for that one. So I think I'm on the wrong side actually. I'm going to cross over and we still see the tram behind me. So despite the sort of the windy conditions, it's another cracking day, and I'm not too sure what's going on the comedy carpet, but it looks heaving. So I'll make our way down there. Sometimes it's nice just to do a bit of a walk around video and just see what happens. I always like trying to bring a story to the video. So we just landed on the comedy carpet. Who remembers the old choppers? They're worth a bit of money now. The original choppers, and nowadays all sorts of shapes and size bikes. So like I said, walk past. It's in fact we're just talking about the old choppers. There we go. You can just see it's probably like a replica. Not too sure. Look at that. You see the old choppers. Funny, I was just mentioning that. Look at that. So that's just some of the different shapes and sizes. Look at that. Look at the old, there's plenty of them. Remember the old BMX? So there you go. It's always great to see some of the old bikes out and about. I imagine that will rekindle a few memories for a lot of people. So it's definitely the weather for kites. And speaking of kites, there's actually the kite festival in Lytham, and that'll be any time now. In fact, I think it's actually more or less coming up. So I'll find the description for that one, or more information, shall I say, and I'll share that if you're interested in the kite festival. But definitely the day for flying. Well, there's certainly nobody on the beach at the moment as the tide rolls in. We just got half a dozen seagulls there, 5 seagulls just probably sort of taking the atmosphere in, so hey, it's a funny one, that one. I wonder what they're thinking. Be an interesting one, you know. Yeah, nobody on the beach. Like I said, it's getting a little choppy out there today. So I think we'll just have a bit of a walk along the opposite side, away from the promenade. And like I say, it's not too bad. You know, there's still a few people wandering about. You know, it's a bit sort of a hit and miss with the weather. You know, I think it's going to throw it down, and then all of a sudden the sun comes out. So at the moment, you know, it's turned out to be quite a nice day in Blackpool. I suppose it is June, and like I said, you got all little food shops and all sorts around. So I'm just gonna have a walk past the Golden Mile amusements, and this one is actually a purpose-built complex, and it was actually opened up around 1968. And like I said, it is a purpose-built one, this one, and like I said, a lot of the little peddlers, what used to sell ice creams and things like that on the beach, were told to move along, so to speak, and they ended up opening little shops all along, you know, where where like Funland and Sea Life is. So that's why you see an enormous amount of little ice cream places and fudges and all the goodies you can buy. So it's just nice, just having a bit of a walk and taking the atmosphere in. So this is an interesting one, Triggers Cafe, and you can see it's under new management. And we did pop in there several months ago, and you know, there's lovely people who's running it, you know, great new management, and all of a sudden it's been closed for months. I wonder what's happened with that one. I can just see the big wheel and the tower on that light, so a lovely little sculpture right above. And like I say, it was under new management. We did open. It's fantastic in there. But like I said, it seems to have closed its doors for the last few months. I hope everybody is okay, because it used to be a great little place, that one. And there's the Vauxhall Village House. And like I said, that got broken into sort of several times. There's been quite a few police around this area in regards to that one. That's just on York Single Street, right on the corner. And you can see it's still boarded up, which has been boarded up for a couple of months now at least. So hopefully, you know, that one will reopen. It's quite a big building, to be fair. An ideal location. So just on Tilsley Road at the moment, as we just walk down a few of the streets just off the promenade. And like I said, we'll have a bit of a venture towards the Carlton Hotel, that's been taken over and rejuvenated, giving another new lease of life. And this one's a bit of a shame. I don't know what happened to this one. It must be possibly sort of fire back in its day. Let me know in the comments what this used to be. I'm not too sure, to be fair. What was this great gaping gap? What used to be housed here? It's got to be a bed and breakfast or something. So we just come up to the Royal Carlton. You can see the Lord's Hotel once again. Nothing is going on with this one. Just a couple of vans parked in the drive, but the one next door, the Royal Carlton, this is one what's going to look very, very swish once work is complete. And they've got scaffolding all around the side of the building, the front of the building. And like I said, this one is going to look super once it's done up. And you just see the amount of sand what gathers. So all this sand, you know, sort of rolls in from the beach, you know, when it's a high tide and high winds. And you know, if you're not careful, like I said, you can get sort of, you know, knee deep in it, a bit like this one. So this is just around the rear of the building. Again, you know, it's a huge hotel with plenty of work. Like I said, with this one, and they've been at this for quite some time. I'd imagine they'll be ripping all the insides out, modernising it. There's all sorts going on. You see the amount of scaffolding it leads all around the front, the back, the sides. So like I said, that's going to be a great one when it's finished. So I was having a bit of a walk down a few of the streets, and you know, hopefully some of these videos will rekindle, you know, those memories of possibly, you know, where you stayed once. Langley House. There's all sorts of little sort of guest houses, bed and breakfasts along this way. And like I said, you never know, you know, one of these videos just might sort of just, you know, set the old memory going. And, you know, some of them are really nice. Is that the Tudor just on the other left as we go past? So it's just you know, a couple of streets back from the actual promenade itself. But it is nice just exploring, you know, all different areas and bringing something new for everybody. There's plenty of another car park just to the right, Crystal Road car park. It seems, you know, every time there's a fire, a damaged building, or something goes on, you know, they whip it down and they turn it into a car park. You have all these, sometimes you have all these plans in place. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. 12 months on, it's a car park. You know. But yeah, I'm sure they have the reason. That's a lovely old church. Look at that. Lovely building. Just off a Crystal Road, this one. So you can just see the tower straight ahead as we make our way down, heading back to the north side of Blackpool, and the football club, Bloomfield Road football club, is just around this area. And a lot of these spaces, you know, sort of get rammed when it's a football day match. And St Chad's Road, remember that? St Chad's Hotel, that one sadly went. But there's also a great little car. I'll just show you this little car on St Chad's Road. So the St Chad's Hotel is right at the bottom. But you can just see that little sort of toy car where it says pay by phone just above there. Like I said, it's amazing. Like I said, when you come down and you got that wonderful little seashell shop along this road, and they've taken retirement now. So yeah, that's Lytham. Lytham Road does have a lot of memories for people. But you know, the good thing is, you know, down these, you know, you turn off from the town centre, you go into a place like Waterloo Road and Lytham Road, and you tend to find all the independent shops, as I like to call them. You know, I always try to support them more than the huge stores. I know, like Amazon, it's a convenience to buy online, but it's always nice to try to, you know, to help them. And Bloomfield Chip, I've never been in there. You see that Bloomfield Chippy? Let me know if you've ever been in that one. Apparently it's got a good write-up. So, you know, I can't comment, I can't say if it's a great one or it's a bad one. I'm sure, you know, it will be a good quality. I'd imagine, you know, when it's a match day, probably people before and after pop in there and indulge themselves. And this is one of my favourite little ones. It's just over the road. In fact, we'll cross over because it's such a shame. It just reminds me of like an old Victorian sweet shop. And I'm going to keep the camera going because it is nice just to weave in and out with things and get a bit of general life, you know, rather than just sort of hopping from place to place. Like I said, this just reminds me of a little. See when it's safe and fast. So I'll just sort of venture over now. See if I can get out quick. So this one, it just reminds me of a great little sweet shop, and this one's for sale. And it's like I said, it's got a few smashed windows, but it just reminds me, you know, like sort of like 1800s, you know, the style of the shop itself. Yeah, I'd love to own something like that. And then they got the Great British Club, another one on Lytham Road. And Cleveleys. What's that one? Cleveleys Road, there we go. I knew I was right. So this used to be it's got to be some shop. And I'm not too sure exactly what happened. Must have been another fire maybe. We can see that one has gone. Let me know in the comments again, you know, if you knew what this was. Right on the corner of Cleveleys Road, Lytham Road. So I'm not too sure what that used to be back in its day. And again, you got all the ones on the right hand side, just the shop. And all these. This used to be a great little cafe. I'm not too sure what happened to it. You know, so about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, it was trading. They had like we've still got the bike outside and all sorts. And how sad. Like I said, they've closed the doors for the last time. Again, you know, the grill station, Yum Yum. I don't know if any of these are open anymore. But yeah, this is Lytham Road. Right, so we're going to rejoin the promenade to see what's going on. I just thought I'd show you, like I said, a bit of reality of Blackpool and what is happening. Then we'll go down Longsdale Road, another one. You know, I think I've sort of ventured down here maybe once or twice, but it is nice just going down different places. And some of these buildings, you can see the one to the right, you know, it's made with solid Accrington brick, unlike the modern ones. And you just see, like I said, the little decorations within. You know, another. I mean, this probably back in its day was a really affluent street, I'd imagine. It's 3 stories. And this leads all the way to Blackpool Football Club. But like I said, you can just imagine, back in the day, the hotel, Belly Hotel, Galloway, Seaforth. Like I said, you know, this just, you know, probably sort of 70, 80 years ago, it just screams money. You know, I'd imagine. Like I said, you have to have a few spare pounds, you know, probably to stay in a place like this many years ago. Huge buildings, they are huge. And like I say, straight ahead, that leads to Blackpool Football. In fact, we'll just leave the camera on until we get to the end. Yeah, that leads all the way to Blackpool Football Club, and a great lot of history for the club. Like I said, it was in the Premiership many years ago, and hopefully, you know, they'll do well and they'll fight themselves back up there one day. It'd be great to see, you know, for the town. So that's, like I said, Blackpool Football Club. Straight ahead. So directly behind, you can just see McDonald's and the Costa, and you can also see the old cinema. And directly behind there was that awful fire at the Central Club, and demolition is now well underway. So in fact, it's been a week. It happened around sort of 2:30. The fire broke out, and it lasted for about 48 hours. Awful fire, and the demolition work is carrying out just behind the cinema there. So like I said, I think demolition is supposed to be completed within the 2-week time frame. And the opposite side to the Central Club basically is where the old tram town is located. If you haven't been to there, book yourself down. It's only like a £5 or something ridiculous, really cheap, and you can experience, you know, what life is like and see some of the fantastic old vintage trams. In fact, you can actually sit in one of them, take your pictures. What a great experience that is. That's the old tram town, which is directly in front. So just approaching the course, and you can see now they've replaced the signs for this year, and plenty of entertainment for everybody going on. Like I say, they've only sort of just recently replaced these. It looks like they've replace them as we head on. We'll have a quick look at the course. Might as well, whilst we're here, and just see the tower now in all its glory, as we have a bit of, and just see how many coaches, or as basically, you know, the whole of this car park is rammed with coaches and all sorts. So I'm not too sure if a football game is going on or if it's just dropping holiday makers off. But there's an awful lot. You can imagine one of those hold, you know, 100 people, 150 people, something like that. And there's dozens and dozens of them. So, you know, let's hope they all enjoy their holiday. What's this one? Holidays by coaches, eh? It's awful, yeah. So it must be, you know, sort of dropping people off. But there we go. There's the tower, and straight ahead is the central car park, and that was built by the contractors who was supposed to be building the leisure centre and all sorts before they went into administration. And like I said, I haven't heard anything. There's nothing. There's no rumours. Nothing. You know what's going to be developed here. The last time there was, you know, in talks with other people. There's nothing concrete come out. There's nothing whatsoever. So, you know, hopefully you're not just going to turn into one huge car park for Blackpool. It'd be an awful shame that, you know, just be an ugly looking place, a huge car park. You know, it'd be fantastic if they brought back like I said, the market in some sort of shape or form. You know, how wonderful. A bit of greenery wouldn't go amiss either. You know, it's a wonderful little market, you know, and a few stalls and, you know, a little park or something like that. That would, I personally think that would suit Blackpool really well. So there it is. That's the latest on the courts, and you see all that section there straight ahead is all clear. Again, huge mounds of the rubble to the left-hand side of the left-hand side of the police station, but it's getting there now, isn't it? It's certainly getting there. So that is, we're back basically to the start where we really started the video on. So we'll have a bit of a walk back, see if I can get through again. Bit of a walk back towards the, if I can get past, towards the North Pier. Look at all the gold he's got. Looks like the, what's it called? That wrapper. Yeah, the amount of gold on there. So yeah, like I said, it's nice just to keep the camera rolling sometimes, capture a bit of reality, a bit of real life on the streets. And it often amazes me, you know, I wonder if people do watch these videos and they spot themselves. That'll be a great one. You know, oh, that's me walking there. You know, years to come, the video will be on there when people, you know, get older, but the memories will be on. And that'll be something. So I do hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, no real story to it. But sometimes, like I said, it's nice just to go for a bit of a stroll. So if you are new to the channel and you do like some of the videos we do put out, don't forget, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification button, and you'll be notified. And we got a good video coming out next week. We're going to go and review a little pet-friendly hotel. And so, you know, a lot of people, you know, have the pets, the cats, maybe the dogs, things like that. And you know, they think, well, I need to put them up in like a doggy daycare centre when we go away. You know, and a lot of people, you know, are single. And, you know, they have a pet for company. And, you know, wouldn't it be nice to bring them along on holiday? It's getting a bit busy here, isn't it? So, like I said, we're going to have a bit of a look around a little pet-friendly hotel and bring you what they offer and what they got in store. So that'll be a good one. Jeez, it is busy along this section. I think the sun brings everybody out. It's just so I'm trying to look at the camera screen and look ahead. Sometimes it's like multitasking, which I'm not really good at. So yeah, like I said, hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification button. And until next time, look after yourselves, look after each other. And it's a bye from me. Bye-bye.